Welcome to Interior Design Diaries, where today I have the chance and opportunity to speak with a very busy lady, Michelle Barto. She unfortunately had a flood, and that's where I started with her design of her home. Come sit down as we chat through everything that happened during her remodel. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you.
It's so fun to have you and on the podcast
thank
talking
you.
about all things your home and our interaction. And so let's jump right in.
Yeah,
right?
great. Love to.
How did you find me? That's always a question.
So we had a flood in our house, and about 24 hours after the house flooded, and I don't remember if I reached out before the second flood or it was in between. I don't
Not only did you
remember.
have one flood, Michelle,
And then
you
I had two, like 3 weeks later.
And
'cause
the second one was the cat.
The cat from the upstairs. Yeah. So the first one was the downstairs. We had just finished painting, finished a kitchen, like minor redo, like 6 months before. And it was like fine, but I did it myself and it was like totally fine. Like it was just something, we've had young kids. It just, stuff was broken, needed to be fixed. We got it done. And even at the time I kind of was like, well, I probably left something mentally on the table, like it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but like, again, you're just completing the project, moving on. But then when the first floor flooded, I was like, okay, well, this is going to be a big deal. I guess we'll just put the floors back and call it good. And then 3 weeks later, when the cat flooded the second floor and took out down the whole first, basically from the entire first floor, we had to start from scratch. I looked at my husband and I thought, I don't, like, this is so stressful. It's right before spring break. It's 2021. There's no place to live. We have 4 kids. They're little. And I only want to worry about where we're going to live and how we're going to get them to school and like processing insurance claims. I don't want to worry about arguments about, what goes where, or like trying to like go look at fixtures together. I really need some help. So I reached out to 3 or 4 of my various friends who had beautiful homes that I loved and were kind of different, and said, hey, who do you recommend for this? And they all 3 of them said you, and their houses all looked completely different. So I would never have guessed it was like you who would help them. And I was like, all right, well, we'll give you a call. And it was great because I felt like when you walked in, we just kind of like connected. And I was like, basically, here's the keys, and like just figure it out. And I remember you asking like, do you want 2 choices, 3 choices? I'm like, no choices. I'll take you a couple places of and give you a vibe, and then you can just run with it. Because like at that point we were like knee deep in like ripped up floors. So how bad could it be? But we ended up like being so happy too. Yeah,
right. Yeah. I mean, you were kind of forced into it.
Yeah,
and 4 kids.
Yeah,
and you are an entrepreneur, fellow woman entrepreneur in business.
Yeah. So, and it was just such a busy time, and I am a web developer and do web design, but more the development side. So like I like what I like, and I'm good at proportion, but I'm not necessarily the most artistic like person myself to where I'd want to like lay things out. But I do appreciate people who kind of pull from various things. It's not just, I didn't want it to look like every other house in Newport Beach, but I also wanted it to look kind of just cleaned up and not, that we had that countertops that were from probably the 1990s, that brown terrazzo kind of.
Oh, right. Yeah. The Baltic brown.
Yes.
It was everywhere.
It was everywhere.
No, you couldn't get away from
it.
Yeah. I went into a house a couple months ago that I'm now working on, and they have Baltic brown.
Yeah.
I mean, there was just some massive rock somewhere with Baltic brown.
Right. And it's gone now. It's
gone because
it's all in Newport, or it was. Yeah.
And back in the landfill.
Yeah.
Right? It was everywhere.
Yeah. It was everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. So we did. As soon as I walked in, I was like, oh, I could totally work with them.
Yeah.
And help them.
Yeah.
And I don't think I met your husband. I don't think I met Brady until
probably like
we were in
a couple weeks later.
Yeah. And we worked with your own contractor. You had that already locked and loaded, and that was on its own trajectory.
Yep.
And I helped with a lot of the finishes.
Yeah, because we'd started with the contractor when it was just replace the drywall below 2 feet and give new floors, and that was the whole project. And then it changed. Yeah.
Yeah. So the bar is one of my favorite things in your house.
I love
it's so central.
Yes.
You're using it
All the time.
Loving it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's working?
It's really like become a fun like centerpiece for our home because even if so like the kids will have like teenagers will have friends over and like they're great because they like we don't allow drinking in the house, but also like they don't. And so it's just been nice to watch them kind of like feel like it's their place. And so they'll like experiment with mocktails. And so
cute.
Yeah. And so
that's the whole point.
it's so fun.
Yeah.
Penelope has this like little aloe seed lip sparkling water concoction that she makes for friends when they come over. And it's just kind of fun. They made like, it's like an old soda fountain from like a long time ago.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I design.
Yeah.
Like that makes me so happy to hear that like it's all family.
All family.
All
yeah.
family.
Our coffee, our tea, our
the coffee's in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. All the drinks.
Business in the front.
Yeah. Exactly.
Party.
Yeah. Yes.
So fun. Okay. So when we were designing, we also designed your laundry room.
Yes. I love my laundry room.
Yes. And you came to me saying, I just want a pretty laundry room.
Yeah. I feel like I went in there and it was not functional anyways. It was just a kind of galley-ish laundry room. It was grayish, white, yellow, weird kind of yellowy cream, I guess, with like gray countertops. And it just made you feel like you were like, I don't know, working in the back of a laundromat. It was really cramped. So I love that I was kind of like, make it like just pretty and a fun place to be. I feel like that green that you picked is like a jewel box. So you feel, and then the white and the black. And then I have a couple of my favorite magazines just up on the top there. So it sort of feels like I'm in my own little oasis and it smells nice in there, you know? And it's very functional with the way we arranged it. So you can really make it work very hard or clean it all up and just enjoy being in there.
Right. And that Dutch door.
Yeah.
That was a surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, it became a focal point.
It really did.
For me when I was designing, knowing all the natural light is going to flood in.
Yeah. And it's so great because you can really open that up and then the neighbors have like a koi pond. So you hear this water sound. So it's extra calming. You just feel very spa-like once you crack the Dutch door.
So you can, I mean, I would go in there and shut the door.
I do it all the time. I'm like, okay.
They're like, where's mom? Doing laundry again.
Yeah.
You have a lot of laundry, Michelle.
Yeah, we do a lot of laundry.
Okay. So one side we did a lot of storage and baskets.
Mm-hmm.
How's that working?
Those are great. The baskets are great. They kind of have changed their function over time too, because they started out being more a place for like towels. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of ended up with a billion beach towels. So we curated a bit and ended up with just kind of one like set of house Turkish towels in there. And then the baskets for a while held like sunscreen and like goggles and just, I mean, it's only been 3 years. But
has it been 3 years already?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
In 3 years. But like, I feel like that the function of those has changed so much in that time because, you know, my youngest was 9 and now my youngest is 12 and just very different needs in that kind of the end of childhood moving into teenager stage. So now it's like a lot of like the endless like baseball caps that you end up with. We have one basket that's just baseball caps because everyone always needs a hat as they're running out
to
the
go
door.
To the beach. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then another basket is still like the sunscreen and stuff, but everything now is a lot of blankets actually because they've started taking their friends down to the beach and setting up the table and having like beach picnics with friends for dinner. Like, you know, we do as adults, but now the teenagers are doing that. It's really fun to watch.
Oh, that's really cute. Yeah. I mean, you're in such a great neighborhood.
Yeah, it's the best.
So I admire you so much because you have so many irons in the fire.
Yeah, wear a lot of hats. Yeah.
And you do it so well.
Oh, thank you.
You really do. So it's so fun to watch you and I saw you at a meeting last night. Yep. And I was like, of course. Of course she is. Not only is she here, but she's running it. And I think I texted you and said, it's so inspiring. Like, if Michelle can do it, I could do it. Because it feels like we're so stretched.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And it's like, okay, no, we can do more.
We can do more.
And we can relax in the quiet moments that we do get.
Yeah. And I think that relaxation is key. It's like, I could not do it if I did not build in like a time every day where I'm like relaxing or in the house too. Like, there's this, I don't know. I feel like everyone has a couple different spots in their house where they just go to kind of like decompress. You know, I've got a window in my room that I really like to just look out of and like work and there's natural light and I can just like work and feel like I'm being very accomplished. But then, you know, I can go to a spot in my kitchen and just, you know, that's pretty and you can look around and feel like, okay, like once you get all the dishes put away and like the counters cleared off, you kind of just feel like, okay, like this is, you know, this is my space. This is exactly me. And I could do anything from this kitchen, you know?
Right. And the space and energy is so important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And how we need each space to fuel us.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
For our mental health.
And then how much clutter can come from like, I don't know, just houses that weren't thoughtfully designed, because the flow of like, I really love the way that you did the first floor, because it grew with us as the kids grew, but it also is just thoughtful, because there's like whatever you need is right there. So you don't have to like, I don't know, the way it was before, if you wanted something, you had to pull out a bunch of drawers and it would be in the drawer behind, you know, you couldn't just easily get whatever you needed. And I think, especially with 4 kids, kind of that thoughtful approach to daily living and just having stuff where you expect it to be on in a way that makes sense for whatever you're doing is so essential.
Yeah, it's almost intuitive.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
you're like, oh, where would that be? Where should that be?
Right.
Or what is the system?
Right. I'm standing by the stove, so of course I'll have a spoon, right?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And even in the bar, all of his drinks and all of the, you know, it looks beautiful.
Right.
Right, with all the bottles.
Right. But then you can grab any kind of glass.
You could see it.
Yeah.
And then you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an art to it. I really do think that, and it can be pretty.
Yeah.
But function.
And one thing I thought was so interesting about the way you did the glassware, and I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to put it back the way you did it, was how before I had it where you had all of the like champagne glasses here and then like beer glasses here. And like everything was like each kind of glass had its space. And you kind of came in and moved everything around. And I thought, but it actually works so much better, because when people come over for a drink, one person has a glass of wine, one person has a cocktail, one person has a glass of champagne. You're not making, not maybe when we were in like college or something, but you're not pouring 6
We're not
beers.
in that life stage anymore.
Yeah. You're not just pouring 6 beers. You're making, you know, and so
everyone their own custom cocktail.
Exactly what they want. And so it's cool to see how that kind of like has made entertaining easier just through that thoughtfulness of that. And then our mugs are like all mugs or like, you know, things to go. But, you know, the little details, a little friction in life that you can get rid of just by moving things around.
Those little annoyances. Yeah. And as moms, there's always going to be something that you're like, oh, like annoyed by, but it's just living in your home needs to feel easy.
Exactly.
And
if
functional.
I can be annoyed only by my kids and not by my house and my
right.
kids, my dog, it's a good day. Yeah.
that is the key, right?
Yeah.
Making everything feel like you have a purpose.
Yeah.
And then it just flows. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say I only have room for one problem child, but really one problem at a time, you know, because there's so many with work and all the things that I do that you look at all of that and you could feel very overwhelmed. And I think when your head feels cluttered, because you do feel overwhelmed, it's hard to do a lot of different things that you really want to do, you enjoy doing. So I think I like having a space where I can just think about one thing at a time or solve one problem at a time, even if it's 10 minutes of problem solving, you know, and then I move on to the next problem that's a different problem. But it feels like it's manageable because you're not trying to, you know, put all the lids on all the pots at the same time.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's been so fun getting to know you on a personal business and all the different ways that we get to see each other. And it's been so nice to help you with your home, get to know all of your kids and your family, and really make your house, your home different than it was before. And hopefully I've enhanced it to make your...
Oh, we love it. It's just so great. Yeah. I'm always like excited to like, especially when it's like, we have a big black dog. So when there's not those little dog hair tumbleweeds in particular, I'm really excited to walk in the front door. But
right? Yeah. Always something.
Always something.
To our earlier point.
Yeah. There's always something. But no, it's really like, it just feels like our home. And like, I really didn't feel like it was, our house did not ever feel like our home before 3 years ago. So it's nice to be able to say that.
Thank you. That means so much.
And I'll tell you something that I think you'll think is so cool because my third, we were talking about things on the drive home, and
that's where all the stuff comes.
And he goes, you know, all of our furniture has a story. I'm like, well, not the gray West Elm couch. He's like, yeah. He's like, there's different sorts of stories there. Chocolate in between the cushions. Like he's like, so but cute. You know, that one bench that we have, he's like, that's old. I'm like, yeah, that's 150 years old, and I think it used to be in like a schoolhouse, and we reupholstered it a couple times. He goes, and the white couch, like, what did that used to be. He's like, it was on in a movie. I'm like, oh, it was on Friends. And we reupholstered it 3 or 4 times. He's like, oh, and then like the ottoman, like, what was that? I said, oh, I think that was on a different movie set, but I reupholstered that a few times. And he goes, I just love how everything in our house, like every piece of furniture has like, it comes with a story behind it. And I was like, that's really cool way to like look at things, you know?
It is.
Yeah.
I always say every house has a story.
Yeah.
And then within it, there's so many different, I mean, it needs to be you and tell your story.
Right.
And it's so cool that he picked up on that.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, what a cool kid.
Yeah. He's
really
he's very artistic.
Yeah.
And then those pots that we have in the corner, they're like antique from a couple 100 years ago kind of thing.
Right.
But I was like, yeah, I like antiques. And he goes, I do too, because like there's history behind it. So I just love that we were able to like, you know, put in a functional new sorts of things that happen, but like work with that with you, with our like, I don't know,
your heirlooms.
Old things.
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes it yours.
Yeah.
Well, it's so fun to chat. Oh, wait, I could do this with you for hours. Like, you know,
yeah, we could talk about art all day.
I know. I really could. What are you doing? Do you have to go?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like to find more about me or my services, check out my website at luludesigns.com.